Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Hey, I was requested today about how do you got your controls set up for keyboard. I know that you might see a Y, an X, and an A, but I am actually playing with a keyboard setup as we speak. Let's go to our controls here. As you can see, all keyboard setup. So I am going to show you today on how to or my control setup for the planes. We're going to use the low BR planes for anybody that's new, so that way you can see what controls I have set up for air arcade battles and realistic battles for the air. So let's go ahead and go into the realistic. We're going to take some bombs with this little pea shooter we got here. Let's go ahead and get into the battle real quick, and well, actually it's a test flight, so we're going to get into the test flight and I'm going to show you how I've got my control set up. So first off, before we go into showing that, I'm going to go into my sounds here and turn down the volume just a little bit so you guys can hear me while I'm talking, and we don't have, like I had on the other one, any interruptions on game sound while I am trying to show you guys the controls. So when I do my controls, I always have the what was the good word to say? I like to use the new multifunction menu. I like to make use of the secondary weapon menu to where I can switch my secondary weapons or then shut them off. But I prefer to keep them on for the airplanes because, well, it comes in handy. So that way you can switch from bombs to rockets to air-guided missiles, from air-to-ground missiles, air-to-air missiles, rockets, you name it, you will get to use it. So, as you see, I got all my key bindings for my turning and everything like that, my tail rotors, and all that is fantastic. And we have our switch targets with our X button here. We have our switch targets with all kinds of good stuff. So let's go ahead and drop these bombs and I will get into showing you our controls. Yeah, buddy. Alright. So let's go ahead and show you the airplane controls that I've got here. Alright, we'll go to our controls. Alrighty, so our control setups we have for our airplanes, we will start at the top here. Our control mode we have the point aim set up for air battles and air battles in general. So from air arcade to air realistic, they're the same, so the controls will be the same. We have our virtual instructor. We keep that on most of the time for us right now. For our hover mode, we have as the equal sign. For our mouse wheel multiplier, I keep it at 45%, and for my throttle access, I use the mouse wheel. So the mouse wheel comes in handy when you're trying to slow down a little bit. I do have it other set up for throttle. I have as the left control and the left shift. You can use the num buttons if you want, but I just use the left control and left shift. So left control is down, left shift is up. For our roll axis, we have A and D is for our left and right. We have W for down, and then we have S for up. Yaw axis, which is the tail rotor, we have for Q and E. Thrust vectoring we have for Alt. Excuse me, sorry. We have for Alt U for down, and then Alt J for up. And this one is actually on the left hand side. I don't know why it doesn't say left Alt, but that is what it's for. For our ignite booster, I don't have that on right now, so I just use that in the multifunction menu. I just go with my Y button is my multifunction menu, which if you are using a keyboard, that should be the default key for it. So we have the toggle flaps is our F, flaps down, which pretty much if you use this, it'll do both of these. So you don't have to worry about that. These all come in standard for your keyboard. Your toggle air brakes is H, and that's usually the same. Reversal thrust. I don't have that set up yet because I have only one jet that does it, and usually I don't use the reverse thrust. So I haven't really tried using it yet. I do have the, what is it, SAG 105, or I can't remember the name of it. I'll do a video on it here soon. And then your gear is your G button, and then Alt G for your shoot, which if you are slowing down and your plane automatically will deploy the shoot anyway, so there is really no need for that. Your main caliber weapon should be 1, which is your left mouse key. Cannons, left mouse key, and make sure these both have 2 on them. So let's say you have a 105 millimeter gun, right? You don't want your large caliber gun shooting the same time as your small. So if you're doing a weapon selection, you can set that up. So you can always set this as your weapon selection to where you can have just your big cannon firing when you are coming down with a 105, a 75, or a 57, to where you can hit tanks if you're doing ground battles. Secondary weapon, you definitely want to have it set up for space, your space key, so that way if you have, let's say, you're trying to drop bombs and you don't want to, and you got rockets and you don't want multiple weapon shooting, and then you don't want all these extra key bindings set up. Open bays I've got for 6, the number 6. Drop bombs is space. So if you had this multiple keyed setup, so it would be 3, or you can do MB4. For firing rockets is number 4 key, or you can use, like I said, the multi weapon selection menu, which I do. Firing air to ground missiles, I have a space, but I use this. All this is usually under my weapon selection menu. I highly recommend you use it, so that way you don't have to worry about all these key bindings. These will come standard in your selection stuff, but I highly suggest use this guy right here, the switch secondary weapon. I have that as the R key, so it is quick for me to do that. For your Z, for firing countermeasures, I use that for everything I've got. So for jets is mainly what this is for, and then I use it for helicopters as well. So Z should be your standard. Try to make sure everything that is for your stuff, make it standardized, so that way you always remember what key it is and you don't have like 50 million keys that you got to remember. Try to keep it simple and try to make everything that you have be in the same finger reach for everything. Like a controller, everything is within finger reach. For your keyboard, you want to try to make sure it's all the same if possible. So the yaw access for aimed weapons, this right here is for shooting guided missiles. So for like the German rockets or missiles, missiles that are on the G91, these are the keys that you will use to aim the missiles. So you want to make sure you have these set up. I have the yaw access aimed weapons. I have left and right, so that will make it go one way or the other. It'll make it go left or right. I have the up key as it'll go up or down, so make sure that's set. This should come standard. Switching radar IR should be Alt R. Select radar IRRST lock is Alt T. Lock on radar is Alt F. Reload gun, I got rid of that. So R was swapped to being on the secondary weapons. You will not need this reload key at all. And then all this down here, toggle, cannon, ballistics, and all that, that will be in your multifunction menu. So you will not need to key bindings at all. Going down, the gunner view sensitivity for keyboard, I have at 82%. Gun view sensitivity max zoom, I have at 100%. Aiming control speed, I have at 6%. These should all be standard for when you start with your keyboard and stuff. This should all be standard. So you have V, F2 for cockpit, F3 for external, F4 for virtual cockpit. You have default for 5, gunner view 6, and bomber view 7. Tracking camera for bombs and torpedoes would be U. Lockdown would be these keys right here. Period for back. And this should all be standard for your head movement and everything else. For it already comes up set up, so you don't have to worry about that. Your aerobatic smoke will come as L. You don't have to worry about this, but if you want it, I set it up so that way you can have it. Your gamepad accelerator is 0%, and then your aim accelerator delay is at 45%, and your toggle engine is I. So that is all my controls for planes. So if you like it and you are ready for a fun day and everything with that, I really suggest you get this nice fancy key setup, and you will have a great time enjoying your battles. You can lock onto your targets easily with your X button or your tab button. I have mine as tab. And if you want to set that up for you to where your lock on is not X and it's not like below everything, I will show you one more thing on this video before we go on to the next video for the next thing. If you want that to be your standard, just switch this out and put your lock target as tab. It will not be in your aircraft menu. There is no lock on or lock target in that menu at all. So just set it up as your tab button, and switch. So your statistics is usually your tab. Just switch that and hit that as backspace, and you'll be fine. And then your switch chat menu is also that tab menu. So just switch it to another key that's not bound by anything. And let's see, what there was one more thing. Your zoom camera, this will be for your tanks, this will be for everything. I suggest you switch it to your right mouse key, so make sure you set that up as well. But let's go ahead back to the hangar real quick. Alrighty guys, I hope you enjoyed this quick tutorial for your control setup for keyboard here for the planes and stuff. The next video we will have will be for the tanks. I will show you the control setups I got for the keyboard for the tanks. Everything should be quick, easy to access when you play the game. Hope you guys have a great day. Hope this helps you out in a way, and let me know down in the comments down below, and I will see you next.